Thank you, Toastmasters. Good to be here today. I can probably almost guarantee I'm not going to take up 45 minutes. I'm thankful that you invited me here to be able to share with you my love of podcasting. And not been a podcaster. I don't think I've only been doing it about 4 years. And there's some nice things to learn about podcasting. One, you can podcast about what you want to podcast about. And it is surprisingly easy. A lot of times people think that there's a lot involved. Before I started doing it, I probably thought about podcasting for 2 years before I actually tried one. Simply because I thought you need to have X, Y, Z, and all that stuff before you can go through and do it. But you really don't need much of a podcast. I want to go over what the definition of a podcast. Hey, the definition, traditional definition, audio file that's changed now, not just audio, but also video. We're going to touch on both of those, and I'm going to tell you just how easy it is for you to get started. The 4 things I'm going to try to cover is what is a podcast, why would you do it, what are you trying to achieve with that podcast. And after that, if you have some questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those. I know Bert has some things he can add to as well. And I need to say this, I am not the all-in-all expert on this thing. I'm still learning, but what I have learned has been volume. And I believe that I continue to learn as far as it goes to this whole podcast. Move on, what is it? What is a podcast? Podcast is simply a episodic event that you have put down in some sort of electronic medium. It's whatever you want it to be. You can podcast about anything you want to podcast about. If you go on iTunes or podcast on iTunes, you'll see podcasts about everything, about things that you care about, things you don't care about. You can see things that move you, that upset you, and all that. You'll see all kinds of things. But that's what represents a podcast. And it's whatever your interest is. There are podcasts about people that do rock collecting. I have no idea what that is. There's a podcast. There's a podcast all about science fiction. And I'm all into that, so I know all about that. If you are into politics, there are 1,000 podcasts about that. If that's something you really want to get into. So once you know what it is, the next thing is, why do you do it? Well, that's really up to you why you do it. That's the thing that's great about podcasting is you can podcast about anything that you want to do. A lot of times people have different reasons for podcasting. For me, it was my Day in the Life of Daddy podcast was a way for me to interact with my children at the bus stops in the morning. And this particular one was a video podcast. But in the mornings when my children were younger, they hated getting up and walking down to the corner. So we did a podcast. And it was a little inspirational thing. And you always saw me in a t-shirt. That was the thing. I get my girls up and we walk down to the bus stop and I have on pants. I have on pants. I would have a t-shirt and I would go down and we would start talking about things that my daughters talk about things, and my little one, my 9-year-old, who is a video hog, she loved it to the point where she asked, "Are we going to do a Day in the Life of Daddy?" And then we expanded that thing to where maybe we were going someplace, if we were all together and we would do it. And the whole idea of that, it morphs from being something to do with my girls and get them motivated to have a good day at the start of their school, to people would tell me, hey, I really like seeing that. That's really a great show. When are you going to do another one? I even made my friend, my neighbor slash friend, Matt across the street, minor internet celebrity, because he hated being on camera. So he would have his daughter down there and I said, oh, there's Mr. Matt. And I could always depend on Mr. Matt to turn around and say, hey, to turn back around. And that was just always hilarious. And folks always like, who is that guy? Who is Mr. Matt? Say, yeah, he's not a morning person. But you do a podcast on whatever interests you. Whatever interests you. And then why do you do it? Some people do it just because they want to be able to do something. It's an outlet. It's a way for them to get a message they have out, or a way for them to share their interests that they like. You ever been to a movie by yourself and like, oh man, I wish I had some idea that I could. That's good. You see that? I mean, I have. Sometimes you just want people to interact. Well, that's not a podcast. You know, if you just can't, you just want to be able to get it out there. Some folks do podcasts because they want to try and achieve viewers or listeners. They want to be able to get people, they want to see people are listening on them. And we'll touch more about that later, because sometimes if you're doing that, and if that's why you're doing a podcast, you need to be ready to be a little disappointed, but you also need to be ready to really push forward and continue on. We'll talk about that later. How do you do it? When I first started podcasting, well, before I even thought about doing a podcast, I thought I needed all this expensive stuff. And I meant to bring some props today of things that I had, cameras, all that, mic, that you just thought you needed because you wanted to be great. You wanted, I want to do Hollywood style production. I just figured I needed to do everything. And then I realized, I don't need all that. I can do it with this right here, your phone. If you have a phone and it is charged, you are ready to do a podcast. You are ready to do a podcast. Just as good when you're doing it on your phone. Now you don't want to be around a noisy area, and they make all kinds of professional mics. You just hook it to your phone, or even not so professional mics. You just hook it to your phone, and your phone already has the software on it that allows you to record and then download and do a little editing if you want to. We'll talk about that later. So what is the end result? The end result of podcasting and why you do it is on you. The end result is on you. I've done 4 podcasts and I don't do, and I've got 2 more kind of in development with another friend of mine in Knoxville. So the first one I told you about, Day in the Life of Daddy. The second podcast that I've done on a semi-consistent basis, I call a purpose moment. And a purpose moment, what I use that for, I love church. I preach from time to time. So what I do with a purpose moment is I use that to give inspiration. So for me with purpose moment, I will maybe take a Bible verse or something, and then I will relate that to something that's going on today. And I make it 5, no more than 7 minutes, between 5 and 7 minutes. And I know that my goal for that 5 to 7 minutes is to give somebody a verse, give somebody an inspirational statement and then give them a way to apply that to everyday living. So I do that in 5, 10-minute increments. I would do that podcast in my office at home with my Mac with the camera built into it, and I would just put my chair in front of it. Now, I know Bert has whole fancy software to give you the background screen. My background, you might see a windy stuff or something if I forgot to move it off of my desk. But
you see a Star Trek stuff.
But depending on what angle you're looking at, which camera I'm using, maybe Star Trek. But it was still just as effective because even when I would stop doing it, you think you don't have people watching. What are you going to do such and such? Why are you going to? Man, I sure would have missed that. So, you have to decide what drives you or motivates you to do it. For those 2 podcasts, I didn't really have an intent of getting people to look at it. It was just really for me trying to give some positivity out there to everybody else. And what I did, I put it on Facebook. That's what I did. So if you want to see one of my video podcasts for a purpose moment, you can go to One Purpose Ministries on Facebook. That's my ministry Facebook page, and I've got all of my ministry podcasts on that purpose moment. So don't laugh when you see it, because it's not the highest you got to imagine. But I had a great time doing it. So how do you start doing a podcast? Have an idea. But there's several ways of starting to do it. The cheapest way is, as I said, using your phone. On the iPhone, and I don't know about Android, but I'm sure it has something similar. But the iPhone has two software pieces that come with it. It has voice recorder and it has GarageBand. Now, GarageBand can be used very heavily if you're trying to edit, if you want to edit some things out and whatnot. I prefer not to edit on my iPhone because I got fat fingers, and I just rather record it and then put it to my desktop and go from there. I don't do much editing because depending on on what kind of feel you want, some people do a lot of editing, some people do none. Being from a radio background, I used to work in radio way back in the day. I edited, but I didn't like it, so I just believe in being as natural as you can. But you can record. So my choice is to do voice recorder. You can get it on Amazon. You can get a lavalier mic, not the best quality, but okay quality, about $10 that plugs into your iPhone, and you can record using voice recorder. That saves as an MP3 file that you can email to your Mac or your PC, and you can either use Adobe or you can use GarageBand. You can use whatever your editing tool of choice if you like to do that. You go ahead and edit that audio. But to actually get started, it doesn't take much. Now, if you want to go ahead and get more high scale, there was a device this company called Zoom. If you look up on your phone or Google it, you'll see what it is. It's Zoom, and they make these called a Zoom recorder. They have several different models. And they're not the only company to make these. It's a digital recorder. Well, you can hook up a professional mic. What's a professional mic? It is a mic. It's a mic that if you go to like theater or something, it's a mic that's got 3 pins in it. Or a very big like phone plug, one big plug, you can put that in it, and that records that file in a digital file as well. A little more complicated transferring that because you gotta make sure you save it to the card, get the card out, download it. But a lot of people who do the professional broadcast, they use those. I have one. I've used it as well, especially if I'm doing over the phone interviews or things like that. I've done that as well. It comes in handy if that's the route that you want to go. So there's plenty of ways to do it. Even if you want to do the interview route, there's a way that you can hook it up to you can hook the recording device, such as a Zoom, to your cell phone, call the person, and the phone is being recorded, you'll be recorded in the conversation. A little more complicated than how I just explained it, but not much. So the point is, you can get started podcasting really with what you have. You don't have to go out. If you want to do a little better and spend $15 and get you a nice mic to go to your phone, great, you can do that. If you want to spend if you buy a used 150, new $200 and get a digital recorder, you can do that as well. If you have a Mac, you already have the software, the basic software to do editing. If you have an iPhone, you already got the basic software to do editing. My fingers is not skinny enough to do it on iPhone. So after you have your content, what's next? Well, people tend to like to do an intro or outro or both. You have to be careful with those because our first instinct is to get a piece of music that we like and use that. But the thing that we have to remember is music that we like, that we hear, is not free. And if you have a podcast, 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to care. Because here's the thing. Even if we aspire to have 1 million clicks on that podcast, 1 million likes on that podcast, chances are you're not going to get that. There are a whole lot more podcasts that do not just explode than they are ones. So even with that in mind, though, you still have to figure out if you want a bump or an intro, you have to figure out what music. There's a whole lot of places online where you can get free music if you want to pay the royalties. Stay away from popular stuff. And if you want to open up with Ache It, Break It Heart, that's great. But somebody's gonna come knocking on your door asking to pay for it if it blows up. And on top of that, depending on where you post it at, many of those sites may not even let you upload your program because of possible copyright information. So the next thing is people want to know, how do I make money at this? I don't know. I don't know how you make money at it. A lot of the folks who make money at podcasts, if you look deeper, somewhere behind it, there's a big corporation behind them, even the ones that started off small. Some company came, scooped them up and put a lot of backing behind them. Then you have the ones that just looked up and really had a topic that people like. All of them would tell you probably the same thing. This was not my first idea. I had to go through idea after idea after idea because their intent, what they wanted to get out of it, was a lot of them wanted something that was going to be popular that they could cash in on. And understand, if you're doing an independent podcast, it takes a lot to be able to make money because it's not the podcast that's actually making you money. Most of the time, it's whatever you're doing that's the source of the podcast. Many of the podcasts that make money, they're because he's the person of the speaker, and he has a program that he's selling through that. He's an author, and maybe the book is so well received, he's carrying that on through the broadcast. And during the course of that, he's gotten so many clicks, so many listeners, that now he can go and say, hey, I'm selling some advertising. And it's not going to be a whole lot. Even some of your bigger podcasters, when they go and approach advertising, they're going to ask, they're not asking for $1 million for a set. I mean, they're asking for a couple $100 to be in this program. And they've got to prove that they've got this many people that are listening to their program. So they're not going to take the word from it. When you're at that point, whoever you're hosting that is going to provide you, depending on how much you want to pay as far as different types of analytics information. It's going to tell you who's listening to your podcast, how many clicks you got, when they click it, how many, when did they click on the ad, did they click join this or that. They're going to tell you all this information. And that's what's going to get advertisers who want to advertise on your podcast. I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe I will one day. We're still working on it. So, and that video and audio podcast, what I just described, is pretty much going to be for the audio podcast. Video podcast is not any different. To me, I don't know if Bert agrees, but to me, video is a little easier because once again, all you need is this. And with my video podcast, I usually post those on Facebook. My Facebook page, I've got a YouTube page. It's easy for me to work in that realm a lot of times in this video podcast. Plus, people are visual. And so for me, I like the fact that I have that visual image. I'm not the cutest guy, but I figure people rather see me talk than hear me talk. So what constitutes a good podcast? Whatever you want it to be. Because you have to decide why you're doing it. If you're doing it for you could be talking about daisies and dandelions. That's what you want to talk about? That's great. I guarantee you there's at least one person out there that's also been waiting on the show about daisies and dandelions. I guarantee you there's always going to be somebody out there that wants to hear what you're talking about. Now, it may not be many. It may only be 4 or 5. But there's somebody out there that wants to hear what you're talking about. So that's what you want to do. If that's just to get it out, go for it. Now, if you want to do a podcast with the intent of getting listeners and going into this big show and hoping that things will go great, and you have all these people who are following you, be prepared to be disappointed, but also be prepared to persevere. My friend and I, we've had one podcast that we tried with that intent, because now with him, his intent is to get listeners. I said, sure, I help God get my training. So his intent is to get listeners. The first idea we did, great subject, no listeners. None. And by the way, he's doing actually another podcast with another friend of ours that's getting a lot of listeners. And they don't have the number needed to actually do some things or make some money, but it's growing. Podcast he and I did, nothing. We were entertained. We thought we had some good stuff. But we were only 2 things there. So since he wanted to get listeners, we did 5 episodes, and we stopped. So our next endeavor is to do a science fiction podcast that we're working on. And so here's the thing about science fiction. First of all, we probably should have started out first, but I know a little more about that than I do this. But on this one, we're going to get guests. Now, here's the idea if you do a podcast where you want to interview people and get guests. Get people who have followers. Because when you get people who have followers and you're going to interview them on your show, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell their followers to tune in, and then you're going to get instant listeners. So that's a strategy that we have with this new show on science fiction that we're going to do. So if you're thinking about a podcast and you really want to get those numbers, think about what you're going to do to interview. How are you going to interview people? How many followers do they have? What do they do? I mean, we can potentially do a Toastmasters podcast, and we got to capture the audience. Just Toastmasters. So So you have to figure out what you're, there's no wrong way to do it. That's the thing to remember. There's no wrong way to do it. If you want to talk about whatever, you can talk about whatever. It's on you. That's what makes podcasting so great. Doesn't take a lot of money. Doesn't take a lot of energy. In Nashville, every, I want to say third Wednesday, but there's a podcast meetup. And there's actually a Facebook page they have. And they meet up every, I forget the Wednesday, I think it's the third one. And regrettably, I'm not able to go the past few months. But that's a wonderful wealth of resource because you have people who are there podcasting all types of things. And then we're able to use as a speaker is somebody who's already an established podcast, who's actually making money on that thing by doing whatever they're doing with whatever they're talking about podcasting. And they impart a lot of knowledge to us. Even if you're, we've had people who have been planning the podcast for 5 years and have not done a podcast yet, but they're still soaking up the knowledge. And it's a great time. I challenge you, I challenge y'all to look that up on Facebook. I think it's podcast meetup, Nashville podcast meetup. And when they have a session, if you can make it, go ahead and get on there. It's free. They usually have pizza and stuff like that, pizza and drinks just to have, so you can eat a little something. But it's invaluable information from doing a podcast. So it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all. I enjoy it. I think it's a great hobby for me. I look forward to see how this sci-fi thing works out. I'm hoping that we can get the listeners for that. But even if we don't, I'm still going to be doing my personal ones from time to time. And whether I get listeners or not, my thing is trying to inspire. Any questions? Any?
I was going to let them go first. There you go.
You talked about copyright. How about if you take a picture or someone on the street pops up?
That's a good question.
You have to get a release?
That's a good question. I've not dealt with that with my video podcast. I've not done stuff out there yet. And the people who we interview on the video podcast side, they already will know what they're in for. So that's not gonna be
Now, I know in the Red Cross, if we take pictures of somebody, we have to get a release. Even if it's a casual thing,
right?
If they're there, but if it's an individual and you're not trying to, I think it's your intent. If you're not trying to monetize and you're not trying to exploit, and they're not on the lam from the law or something, I don't see.
You're right. When you do an audio podcast, depending on the site you're on, you're able to do slides. And so depending on those slides, you have to be careful maybe if you're doing audio. Video, unless I'm walking, and like maybe when I go to DragonCon this year and I do some video, I may need to be careful when I'm pointing the camera or whatever. But for crowd shots, usually it doesn't matter. It's when you got somebody individual, but it's always best to get a release. But I'm not planning on making any money, so I'm not. Now, if I was actually making money and you got a million followers, then I'm getting releases from everybody.
I'm looking more at, I spend sometimes
Come in.
8-10 hours a day in Nashville traffic with a traffic cam. Go back through it, record it. Podcast stupid Nashville drivers.
Oh, you'll get.
Now on that, now if you did something like that, the only thing you need to worry about is license tag. You have to blur those out because you can't do anything that's going to be personally identifiable. You're in a crowd. Recording cars is not going to make a big difference, but you just make sure you can't view tags.
I was at Metro. Started calling promoting the tags.
Well, you have to be careful with that because then you get the privacy issues. But yeah, if you can do that. I mean, with me, one thing that I'm always sensitive about, and I take pictures, is I'm sensitive about children. So if I'm taking a shot and I see kids, that's about the only thing that I won't really bother with. I take pictures of my own children all day long, but they can't sue me yet. But but other people's children, even if it was a crowd of adults and I'm trying to do a crowd shot, I would not have an issue taking a picture of that. But if it's a crowd of children, that would be different.
It's only got 3. But this is more of an observation, and it's also an observation from the fact of, because I knew you were doing this, I did a lot of studying. And if I'm hearing you say correctly, is you got to find your niche. And if your niche is underwater basket weaving, there's people out there doing it. Yes. And if you find your niche, then you got to be creative in how you word it so that you can draw people to it, because that's what draws them in. The second thing, and this is, I also get it from my guy that's coaching me in my YouTube videos, you got to be consistent. You got to get out consistent. If you say, I'm going to put something out every week, you got to put it out. And your outro's got to go, if you like this, join me next week or subscribe. And that's how you get, and be there and be consistent for it. And the other thing with consistent is consistent quality, not just something slapdash, something that means something. And the other thing is, you were talking about followers, and this is really interesting because I was watching a guy who sells a class on YouTube, and he said, this is my first 2 years in the business. And he said, after 2 years, I had 200 followers. And then after a while, it just started arcing up. And the next thing you know, because if you've got quality material and you're consistent and you're putting out there, you've got a body of work. Because then, particularly on YouTube, it says what other videos you got. And so if they watch one of your videos, they're going to watch another one. And you're going to get what they call it, I guess some people call it tribe. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the other underwater basket weavers. And so you got to be giving it your heart and true to your heart and be consistent and be in it for the long haul. That's what this guy's thing was. He says, first 2 years, he said, I had some followers. And the only reason I stayed in it was he had 6 followers. He said, as I had people responding to me and I was responding to them, and it was fulfilling something. So it wasn't just me yelling out in the middle of nowhere. So if you're reaching somebody, keep going at it. That's what I got from what you said. You got to be consistent.
Consistency, that is a big deal. I am not consistent as I should be on some of my blogs. But if you want to do this thing, you have to be consistent. If you say you're going to do something every week, you say you're going to do it every week. That's why I know the biggest mistake people make in that is saying, I'm going to put something out every day. You are not going to put something out every day. And people are going to be expecting you to put something out every day. And if you get a follower on that, then the first time you don't put something out, you've lost it. So consistency, quality. You don't have to have Hollywood quality, but you don't want it to be dark.
I'm talking, good content.
You don't want to be dark. You want to be, you want to have some decent content. I mean, you don't want to have content about Crayola and crayons. Maybe somebody's out there interested in it. But there is always somebody that's going to be interested in what you are interested in. If you don't, what taught me that was when I realized that if I have an issue, an obscure issue, I can Google it. And when I think I'm the only one who has that issue, I see a whole list of people who had the same issue, and maybe I can find a solution to that issue in that. So there's always going to be somebody that's going to be interested in what you do. And part of